If you listen and look back on most of your failures, you're going to see that it was your own mind that betrayed you. A lot of you have been sabotaged internally by your own mind. Your own psyche is working against you. When you have negative thoughts that prevent you from being the best version of yourself, you should understand that your mind is attempting to betray you, and you should feel disgust because you have enough enemies. There are enough people in that opposing trench trying to destroy you. I promise you, if I were to give a button to most humans on this planet, if I were to go up to an average man, 25-year-old man of average income anywhere in the world, and say, if you press this button, this guy's gonna die. And I'll show a picture of you being a nice little boy, whatever you're doing. I'll make you look sweet and innocent. I'll say, if you press this button, this guy dies, but you get $100 million. You do understand that 99.9% of people will press that button, right? Without remorse. And if they do, they'll distract themselves with a Lamborghini and with bitches. That's it. They won't care about you. There's enough people in the opposing trench who are prepared to destroy you for self-interest. The idea of you not having every single part of you on your own side is truthfully sad. You cannot allow your own mind to betray you ever. Once your mind is on side, that's when you can go and look for other teammates. You can expand your network of other people whose psyche is all 100% on their side. Then you can go and get things done. But the idea of self-betrayal is something most of you are struggling with and you didn't even realize. And I want you to actually think about it. How many times have you doubted yourself? Didn't feel like doing something you knew you were supposed to do? How many times has your mind tricked you into procrastination or being lazy? How many times have you sought comfort in excuses? How many times have you betrayed yourself? Don't worry about your enemies attempting to crush you. It wasn't your enemies that tricked you. It wasn't your enemies that outmaneuvered you or outsmarted you. You were simply self-betraying. And until you identify that pattern, then you're always going to lose against people who fully believe in themselves. Most of you do not use your mind for what it's for. You've forgotten how to imagine things. You should be able to close your mind and imagine the life you want to live so viscerally, to the point where you can taste it, so that this reality, the one outside of your mind, feels like nothing but a prelude, which allows you to get where you want to go. If you ask any champion of anything, they always envision themselves as champion all of the time. And the reason they do that is, one, so they feel confident, but two, so that if they don't become champion, they're more angry and more motivated for the next attempt to ensure that they do become champion. If you lose, you would have spent so much time imagining it that you're really going to want it. And because you're really going to want it in your mind, you're going to be more motivated to work hard than ever before. But you cannot close your eyes and vividly imagine. You can't evoke an emotion in yourself anymore. This is an age-old skill that humans had very recently up till social media. Watch your friends when they're on TikTok. How long can they even focus on a video before they have to change? Half a second? All of your minds are broken. You can't even focus on anything anymore, to the point where you can't even appreciate the good things in your life. You're distracted. Your minds are broken. You need to rewire your mind and resist the slave programming. If you cannot control your own mind, then you are just a feather in the wind of life, because your own mind is the only thing you can control. You can't control the weather. You can't even control whether your heart stops beating. You might have a heart attack tomorrow. If you cannot control your own mind, then you go through life with zero control. A lot of people constantly asking me similar sounding questions about some degree of doubt that they seem to have in their mind when it comes to their capabilities or their intentions. There's so many people who doubt themselves or doubt what they're capable of doing. And your mind, at least, needs to be an absolute monarch. I cannot remember the last time I won anything unless I was winning by force. There's no easy ride to the end. There's no democratic, smooth sailing, fair election, liberal, bullshit versus conservative, we won the vote, crap, to the end goal. You're only ever going to win by force. So even if you're living in the West, when you understand you're living in a false democratic system, your mind must be an absolute monarchy where your commands are instantly obeyed and you instantly comply with your own mind. If your mind says, I'm going to train today,
Your body must instantly comply with the overlord, which is your intention. You know, people talk about motivation all the time, and I'm tired of getting asked this fucking question. Let me explain something to you about motivation. If you felt like doing something and you didn't do it, you were never motivated. How you feel has absolutely nothing to do with motivation. Motivation can be measured purely by the action in and of itself. Did you take action? If so, you were motivated enough to do it. Even if you didn't want to do it, even if you hated the idea of doing it and was resentful about the fact you had to do it, that is motivation.
Because when you look at words like procrastination, they give big fancy titles for this. What procrastination is essentially is wanting and needing and knowing that you must do something and disobeying yourself. That's the most ridiculous thing in the world, because if you can't listen to yourself, how do you expect anyone else to ever listen to you? If you can't listen to your own commands, you have no chance of having authority over everybody else, because people can smell it. They can tell a dosser when they see one.
So in a democratic society, if you're unhappy with your ruler, you simply try and vote for somebody else, assuming democracy is real, which we know it isn't. In a kingdom, in an absolute monarchy, if you're unhappy with your ruler or you're unhappy with the country, you leave. And I think men at home today need to be absolute monarchs over their lives, and anyone who's unhappy with your leadership has every right to leave. Let's imagine this. You're an absolute monarch of your life. You say what you want to do, you say how you want it to be, you say how you're going to live, you get it done. If a woman decides to stick by you with your absolute instruction and command, then she believes in your leadership. If she leaves you because you are not bending or breaking to her will, because there's an absolute monarchy that you own, that she is living within, then you're going to find yourself very, very lonely. So a great way to measure your capability as a man is to wake up and say, this is the life I want to live, this is how I'm going to live it, this is what I'm going to do, and see who's sticking around beside you afterwards. So you can live with absolute monarchy and reign as a king, and you're going to find out a lot about your capability, not only from women, but from men too. What men want to stick by you when you say, look, this is how I'm going to live my life, this is what needs to be done, this is the life I'm going to live. If you're going to have the mentality of a democracy and start sitting around with your girlfriend or your friends and talking about what maybe should you do, you're now spending all your potential energy infighting in a bullshit civil war instead of actually focusing on the tasks at hand. And this is why people fail. Monarchies are built on the faith in the king himself. Democracies are actually based on the forever promise of a better future. Democracies are based on the fact that you have an idiot ruling you now, but don't worry, you get rid of the idiot and replace him with somebody competent later. And of course, another idiot wins, and you get told, don't worry, at the next chance, you get to get the idiot out. A king has an obligation to his constituents, which is why you need the mindset of a king for the exact same reason. You now have an obligation to the people who believe in you. You now have an obligation to yourself. You can no longer delay it. You can no longer procrastinate. You can no longer live in the promise of a better tomorrow, of a perfect future. There is right now, and you have obligations you must fulfill. By fulfilling your obligations to yourself, you default fulfill your obligations to everybody who believes in you and cares about you and loves you and relies on you. You're not trying to get strong and get rich just to buy dumb shit. You're doing that because you owe it to yourself. You're doing that because it's going to please your ancestors and please God and please the universe. And by extension, you are automatically going to become more valuable to everybody else who believes in you, which strengthens your kingdom, strengthens your absolute authority. And there are some times in life as a man, you need absolute authority to be effective. If this house sets on fire, I need to be able to say to my woman, get up, run. I don't have time for her to say why. Where's the fire? Maybe you can put it out. My friend's boyfriend didn't yell at her like that. There's no time. I gave a command and I expect to be obeyed because it allows me to save her life and mine. If you do not have absolute authority over the people you are providing and protecting, you are not actually effective as a leader at all.
What you have to look at is the price that you pay for procrastination and the price you pay for a lack of assertiveness in your life. In England, this dream of, oh, it's going to get better under this guy. Oh, we can vote him out. Let's get better under this guy. Tony Blair, Gordon Brown, David Cameron, and we just run through this endless series of morons. The price you pay is a wasted life because we only get one spin at this. And if you throw it away, you've thrown everything away.
There's nothing more beautiful than absolute accountability as a man. Absolute accountability for all things, both the good and the bad, to blame absolutely everything on themselves. I promise you, If you stop making excuses, you stop waiting and praying for some kind of better future, and you wake up every day and say, all of the good in my life is my fault, and all of the bad in my life is my fault, and I'm the only one who can fix this. It's never going to get better by itself. It's never going to be easy. I have to win by force. I must force myself and my mind to brutally perform. There is a degree of comfort that comes when you understand that the power is within your own hands. I like monarchies because I like that there is a ruler, and all the good and all the bad that happens is one person's fault. In your life, that should be you. In the country you live in, it should be somebody you have faith in.
Take full responsibility. Learn to reap without complaint. Important part of personal development. It's not the seed, it's not the soil, it's not the sunshine, it's not the rain, it's not the seasons that's to be criticized. We must take personal responsibility. It's your crop. Whatever you've reaped, it's your crop. Take responsibility. No complaint. And here's the next one. No apology. The best of human maturity is no apology if you've done well, and no complaint if you haven't. It's the day you know you've passed from childhood to adulthood. The day you accept full responsibility.
What boys do is they point the finger at other people. When there's a challenge and you start pointing the finger, you'll never get to the next level. As soon as you start saying it's somebody else's fault, what you do is say, I'm a child and I need somebody grown to handle this.
You need to look at yourself in the mirror and say, why are you only giving 50%? What's wrong with you? You've never looked at yourself in the mirror and said, you let you down.
I take full responsibility and I'll do whatever it takes. I'll get up, I'll stay late. And that's why you point the finger, because you don't like how the pain feels. You ain't ready for the pain.
You owe yourself. I didn't get here making excuses. No, my mama don't have no network. No, I'm not at a country club, but I'm still gonna be successful. And can't nobody stop me but me.
Can you get stronger in handling life situations? Of course. But you gotta go to work on yourself. You can't blame out there wishing it was easier. Wish you were stronger.
I know you don't want to wake up. You don't have an option. Get up. You got to get to a point where you're disciplined.
Commitments don't have nothing to do with your feelings. You do it because you're supposed to.
It might require you saying no to your friends. It might require you changing your diet. I had to look at all the things that I didn't have control over and say, I got to take control. No more playing after today. I need you to take control.
I'm talking about you. The only person that you can actually control. You.
You're not going to argue with yourself about what mentality you should have or how you should implement a mindset to be most combatively effective if you're already working the best. You're not going to doubt your mind if you're already massively successful in all realms. How can you tell me that my mindset is wrong and the way I think and act is not the correct way to be a man if I ruthlessly outperform everybody? Why would I want the mentality of these little trolls who nobody even knows who they are? Why would I want to adopt the thinking of sad losers when I can be a competent, capable, and happy winner? If you start to succeed in the way you need to succeed, you will no longer doubt your thinking patterns. Why would you go to a therapist and beg them to change the way you think and feel if it was leading you to where you wanted to go? If the way you thought and the way you felt, even if it wasn't a positive feeling, was giving you the results that you wanted, you would still want to retain that mindset. Isn't it beautiful for a man to turn up, try his absolute best, and be completely responsible for the results? There is nothing better as a man than to turn up and get a fair shot. You should want as a man to be judged for who you are and what you're capable of. You want to just say, here's who I am, this is what I can do, give me a fair chance. And you want to be the kind of man who says, if I have a fair chance, I'm going to win because I believe I can work harder than everybody else.